All right, so no need to give a quick recap, and we're going to dive right in. Ms. on scene, primarily because Leonti must prepare to take flight and move and operate and do all of those good things that heading to do in life. As such, we'll start in alphabetical orders with Leonti walking down the hall, realizing that he is in the company of fellow operators. So, fellow is stretching of the word. These dark uniform men and women are still very much alive. They are still very much breathing. They are still very much on edge. Yet, due to their extensive military training, they are able to comport themselves as if it's just another Tuesday. The sheer overwhelming factor and truth that they are overwhelmed and beset by their own very pale, non-existent beast, their darker impulses, though that aggression, that anger wafting off of them in waves is nearly enough to cause Leonti to pause, to falter a step, to seek escape. But instead, he soldiers on. When he arrives at the end of his hall, instead of the closed, lightless room, he is in an expansive book-lined library. The windows are floor to ceiling and outfitted with far too luxurious window treatments. There is wood and leather and gold brocade all about the place. And leaning against the desk is the central desk. There are several scattered across the room, all writing desks and end tables here and there. It very much looks old world smoking room, instead of what it seems, a library of near limitless resources, knowledge from various different eras, epochs, and decades. But leaning against the desk is a woman roughly about 5'6", 5'5". She is dressed in a top pantsuit with a dark blue silken shirt. The firearm on her waist clearly visible, and based on its location, you can tell that she is left-handed. As you enter the 6 armed men and women who escorted you down the hall take up positions around the room, far enough to have a clean through and through, if that's what it came down to. Luckily, you're not worried about that aspect of this meeting. The fact that such a strong paramilitary group is aware of you, or you've come on their radar, is the most glaring factor.
So, what do you want?
Well, I believe that would be quite obvious. We didn't shoot out your tires. We didn't have a sniper attempt to down you on the way here. We didn't slip anything into your food or drink. We merely want to talk.
Okay. I wanted to hear from you.
We believe you were dead. We believe that you were deceased. We believe that you were well and truly in the land beyond, whatever that is, whatever our just desserts are for the violent, assaultive lives we lead, Mr. Bogdanov. Finding you in the company of such known terrorists is a matter that is worrying to us.
What can I say? It's hard getting word when you're supposedly dead.
Well, you could always come back into the fold. You could always choose to apply your skills and trade in the investment of your experience to the good side, to the good guys. You could fight for the angels.
It's the same objective, but ordering development.
No, that does sound interesting. However, I'm in kind of a difficult spot, if you could say. I'm kind of stuck where I am. I would love, but I would like to hear. I would like to hear before I decide to risk my life to get out of join your side.
That is a very interesting turn of the phrase. Mr. Bogdanvo, the truth of the matter is, we are beset. We have holes in our intelligence. We have several members down, dead, because of the people, the beings you associate with. The beings we believe that you may be party to. If I were to tell you that monsters exist, what would you say, Mr. Bogdanvo?
I'm wondering what kind of things you've been smoking before you came to this meeting.
I see. Well, I'll assume that your answer is honest. But first, let me inform you. We have developed technologies that allow us to target these monsters, these blank bodies, these furries that exist amongst us. We are able to, within a 3% variable, identify them. It is an investment of time and energy, and, well, the technology isn't exactly portable just yet. Mobile, yes. Portable, no. We happen to have one of these such devices on premises. We could have it here in under 45 seconds, and we could have it set up and operational within 2 minutes. Would you like me to obtain that device, or would you enjoy us having an honest conversation?
That's an interesting. Well, I would have to say that seeing what I've seen with these people, the concept of monsters being more believable. I would have to agree. Still hard to swallow. But they have things that I've seen a few things that I've just decided I was hallucinating from stress, lack of sleep. But if you're saying they're true, I'm interested.
Very well. I understand. We were hoping to perhaps utilize your skills. That requires a certain level of trust, a certain level of understanding between us. Especially being as you would all but have, as they say, a license to kill. Extenuating circumstances not presenting themselves, you would be acting in our stead amongst your... What do you all call yourselves?
One walk left. Please make a big explosion.
Kindred.
True.
So, So I take it that your lack of response is that you're considering whether we proceed forward with all due honesty.
Oh, I did say something. I said kindred. It might have glitched out.
Kindred. That is a relatively new one for us, but fair enough. We understand. So your kind call themselves kindred, as if you're some illustrious family. Let's see. So, Mr. Bogdanville, while we have not decided to end your existence. We have not decided exactly how we would move forward with your current situation. Would you be willing to assist us in better policing the kindred?
Intriguing. This aligns with me. Besides, one of my main goals to make sure that these kindred don't do me wrong.
Excellent.
So, what do you want?
Well, Mr. Bogdanville, we understand that time is of the essence. Maybe not so much for your kind. There are several things we would need to do to ensure your viability as a candidate to work for us, to work with us, to further our cause of protecting humanity against your kindred. Would you be willing to submit?
I'm very much willing to take out legitimate threats to humanity.
Excellent.
The kindred are a mess. Some are just hunters, vying for prey. Others are legitimate sociopaths and murderers. They do not hunt indiscriminately. Everything.
That
I care for those kind.
That is entirely acceptable. What we will do is provide you with a cover and reinsert you back into your society. If you'll be so kind as to. And with that, she slides over a tin bin to divest yourselves of your armaments here. We will proceed to the next step.
He puts his sidearm in. He wasn't really. I highly doubt that he was able to get his sniper rifle like bolted on in the car.
No.
So it was just a sidearm.
Excellent. And with that, Leonti is escorted into an off-camera area, a more secluded portion to begin discussing the next steps and for what needs to take place to start. And with that, Leonti, we wanted to thank you for sharing this time with us, and we'll let you get back to your traveling, okay?
Okay.
Travel safely. We'll see you next episode, okay?
Got it.
Thanks so much. Bye. All right. And as Leonti is led into an off-camera area just outside of the immediate view of our eye and our minds, we turn our gaze towards Mason, who, in the company of his escort company, arrives in a kitchen. There's a singular chair sitting roughly 15 feet from the huge industrial oven, there are countertops which have clearly been imported from some other place around the world. This is not standard marble. This is not the standard for mica. This is high quality, designed to withstand all but the might of God striking it. It doubles as both cutting board and work surface. The extremities of the kitchen is clearly one designed for creating large, expansive meals. There are several different stations, from soups to full-fledged grill stations, including an indoor actual hibachi, so that you can serve things a little more refined, requiring far more skill and focus. While he waits, the members of his company take positions around the kitchen, barring, of course, the main egress through which he's entered, as well as barring access further into the kitchen itself.
Well, this place is fancy.
We really don't have time for your games, says the one over his left shoulder. A rather tall gentleman. It's clear that while he may not be in charge of any company, he clearly has their hearts, if not their full minds. I.e., he's probably somewhere along the lines of their favorite sergeant, or maybe somewhere mid-range, a non-commissioned officer. Not quite high enough to lead the team, but definitely required for control of the team.
I'm not playing any games here. I'm just trying to be kind. You know, gain allies rather than not gain allies.
Was your kind when they destroyed... You know what? I'm not getting into this. I understand the tricks that you all play.
Destroyed what? I haven't destroyed anything.
Perhaps not directly, but your very existence destroys things, doesn't it?
What do you mean, my very existence destroys things?
No, it's not playing games, Blank Body. We know what you all are.
You're not the people I thought you were, aren't you? That's a bit saddening. Anyways, I have no clue what you're talking about. I am just a humble writer.
You know, that's kind of fucking funny. Hey, easy. We're not even supposed to be talking to him. Yeah, but Johnson's late, so that gives us time to have a little conversation. And with that, he steps around in front of you. His anger is obvious. It's the sort of anger that you wouldn't expect from professionals. You would expect from someone who is emotionally invested, personally invested. He even bothers to snatch off his sunglasses. Look here, motherfuckers like you are the reason why my brother is dead. Motherfuckers like you are the reason why we are boots on the ground all through Gary to rout you until death. You destroyed. We're not even talking about them, how many lives you probably affected over the course of your singular life. We're talking about what you all did in Gary. My brother led Beta Team. My brother, you know what? I'm not going to. Okay. All right. And he puts his glasses back on. You're not even worth the fucking time. You're not even brave enough to be one of the directly responsible. No, you just eat around the edges like some damn rat.
Well, I'm not responsible. I didn't put that explosion there.
And like a lightning strike, like a flash of sunlight at midnight, it dawns on them. not only does it dawn on them, not does it come to realization, you can hear the synapses firing. You can hear the, oh, fuck. And there's a slapping of holsters, and the guns, which were clearly visible, are aimed at you. You see several laser lights targeting you center mass, i.e. the dead center of your being, which would clearly easily eviscerate any matter lying just beneath your breastplate. Others, however, are a little more bloodthirsty. Those laser sights that are usually invisible to the naked eye unless, of course, they shine directly at them, feel as if he is being cooked by small matches because he can feel the pressure of them as they take sight at his head.
Okay, I'm sorry. That was harsh of me. I did just make a promise to a special lady that I would not make more enemies than necessary.
The silence in the room is deafening. It is a decision being made, a decision that whether to exert the necessary 4.25 pounds of pressure necessary to eject the cartridges, to pull the trigger, to finish what they'd hoped to in Gary, all in one fell swoop in the here and now. And as that decision is tabulated, added up, double checked and triple checked, we shift to Joshua. There's a wealth inherent in knowledge. It also comes with its own level of suffering, usually in silence. However, in this case, as Joshua realizes that there's no way that stockpile such as that could be used for anything more than being involved with and party to the blood trade. And Joshua was pretty sure that in his time being a customer, being a very low-level dealer himself when occasions were possible, when he had a little extra to spare for Marcus, that he knows every official and supported member of the blood trade, every member of either Sephora's entourage or the circulatory system directly. And these folks, these people, these thin blood are nowhere in that cipher. He has gone as far as Chicago itself to obtain blood from various dealers, and never once has he ever stopped in Dalton. Not once has he ever been to this church and dealt with the people here. He knew they were that members of them and certain portions of Eric's clan of cast-offs were involved in criminality, but this level of criminality, this involved predatory actions against the blood trade would generate a response equal to what Michael Corleone did to the bosses. And he has an understanding that they are very much absolutely lucky to have continued existing. And the code walked right into this. So as the Thusborn are being raised by Ben and Toinette, and Marcus, who suddenly just left, what is it that's on Joshua's, what he's had to do this evening? Do we have you, Josh? Your mute's still on. All right. Well, as our duties work themselves out, and Joshua comes back to the mic in a moment, shift Ben. There's no way that one person should have been able to do this. Just sheer number-wise, there are enough Dustborn here that they should have been able to repel anyone who was able to get inside the Tolper. Been in the process of providing blood and providing access and bringing them back to wakefulness, rousing them, resurrecting. Realizes there aren't any bruises, bullet wounds, there's no knife wounds, there's no bashed in, lumpy, soft material from someone being beaten with that. There's no physical damage to them. It was as if someone waved their hand, pulled out all of the oxygen in the area and left them in a state of torpor.
Do they know through dealings with some Tremere, like kind of what Tremere might be able to do? Or like have they heard rumors? That and then the darkness, would that feel familiar to them as something else? The darkness that just seemed to dissipate once whatever it was lifted?
Okay, well, let's give it a shot. Let's see what approximately we then be aware of, which we so kind of just go ahead and roll your intelligence plus occult difficulty 5. And of course, less results, less successes will provide less information and cover that in a
The one character with no occult. Ugh, that sucks. Okay, we'll try it anyway. Who knows? Yeah. That's kind of way in the dark there.
Magisters, Keepers, Sabbat, those are what did this. Monsters that have hunted the Camarilla to a standstill. The monsters that move towns and destroy everything, every semblance of the masquerade, every semblance of protections, every semblance of loved one, and worse. They are the monsters under the bed of the elders of the tower. They are evil incarnate. If anything and anyone was responsible, it is definitively Sabbat.
Looking around, noticing that Mason and Leonti left, and then Marcus ran off as well. She's looking for anybody left and sees Josh and walks up to him. We have a problem. I'm sure you understand that. I found the blood. I don't know where they got it from, and I'm sure you probably have your guesses. But what did this? We don't want any parts of. I'm sure you heard of the Sabbat, the boogeyman of all kindred kind. Walking darkness. Yeah, they did this. It is a message. For what I don't know yet. But they did.
There's all sorts of bad news. They got these thin bloods dealing blood way over their head and involved with those. I honestly want to just wash my hands of this.
You said the Thin Bloods are doing what now? They're what?
And of all this equipment for blood extraction, yet I've never heard of a single one of them in the legal blood trade. Not Chicago, not Gary, not Dalton, not Milwaukee.
Oh my god. Of all the stupid things they could possibly do to paint the target on their back, that's like probably number 1 or 2. We were working on looks around to make sure that she's not going to be overheard and gets closer to the doctor. Marcus and I went out tonight to repair the rift between us and Decibel and hopefully find us somewhere else to be so that we didn't put the Dustborn in danger, but it seems they put us in danger.
What should we do?
to leave them to their own devices and see them get wiped out, but I'm not fighting the Sabbat for them. I say we do the best to cut our losses, patch up what we can, and get home. This isn't our town.
No, just circling the wagon. Your strategic withdrawal might be a good idea. For our own sakes.
Sounds right. The thing is, as crazy as it sounds, we might have brought a bar in Chicago Heights. Might have. It's a really fun bar though. Might give us a place to escape to if Gary gets hot again.
It'll be the first time of life in this city in who knows how long. It's not the good kind of activity.
No. And then, strange thing, I didn't want to say it earlier because, Mason was still here. But I don't know what was going on, but earlier when we were checking out the bar, I could have sworn I saw Mason and Toinette speed past it, and they looked like they were running from something. So we might need to find out what that is too, so that it doesn't come and bite us in the ass. Where did you go, Timmy, by the way? Because you obviously weren't here during this.
I was out mingling
You were out
at
what?
the Dami's resident bar and club, and I did a little bit of an odd job for her. It was a little bit time consuming.
So she got like 3 favors out of us? Sneaky bitch. Wait, how did she get you to do a favor?
Well, I honestly felt quite lost and not really knowing what to do to even help the Thin Bloods. I ended up kind of following leads how to find you guys. Ended up at that club. Wasn't too happy with my behavior. I did. And I put him in. Fool myself.
Oh, yeah, that would get that would cause an instant offense. I mean, I'm no fashion plate or anything. Ben kind of spins around in their puffy dress and Vans because they're still wearing them. But, you go where the posh people play, you kind of gotta dress up. Did you see Marcus was in a suit? Doesn't he look handsome? So fun. But yeah, we went because we were trying to patch the thing with Decibel, and she promised us an audience with Decibel if we handled something for her, which we did. And it almost went sideways, but we managed to pull it off. So, and then we brought a club. Oh, that's so strange to me. So whatever this Geneva has going on is like some big to-do type of stuff. I don't know. It's kind of crazy, I think. She's got something coming up.
I can't make heads or tails about it.
All right. So as Ben and Joshua discuss the course of their evening, we turn our gaze to Mason. As the laser sights bear down on you, Agent Jones, as Mason understands him to be, enters, and much like other members of the government who are officious, always flustered, and always in a rush, there's a manner and a way in which things need to be done, and they need to be done this way so that other things happen. Mason understands this. He has come to appreciate and deal and absorb this. As Agent Jones enters, it's clear that there's been a miscommunication between the officers who are preparing to assassinate Mason, because there's no doubt in his mind that's exactly what's preparing to happen. They wouldn't level guns at him unless, of course, they were effective. Now, while most guns would knock you down or make you kiss a little dirt and you can get up an hour, 2, 3, 5 minutes later, however, it's something about the surety of their aim, something sure about the fact that they have to make a decision between pulling the trigger. And Agent Jones enters. Whoa, hang on. We're not doing whatever it is you're preparing to do unless, of course, I give the say-so. This, Ryder, this is a small fish. We don't need to do any of that unless, of course, I give the order. Do you understand? Everyone stand down. And when he says this, he, like the others, puts on his sunglasses in front of Mason, as if he almost forgot them. Forgot a little SOP, but he slips on his sunglasses. The gentleman that Mason revealed a bit of information to, and the others who heard him, they don't holster their firearm. In fact, they step into a full stance, and you know that the decision is all but made. However, it's clear that Jones is the top kick. It is clear that Jones is the commanding officer, and there is some discrepancy between how they want to settle this and how they should settle this. All right. It's a little early, but let's take a quick 10. We'll be back at a turning of the hour exactly. We'll pick up from the moment when Jones and the security team are having this issue. Okay? Folks, anybody back?
Yep, I'm here.
Okay. Well, very much welcome back. Thank you so much. For the record, this is officially Steel Hearts, Rusted Souls, Season 2, Episode 2, and One Friend Sharpens Another. When we last left the coast, they were in precarious situations due to putting some pieces together, due to mysterious calls, and due to a trip into places where even angels fear to tread. We pick up with Mason, surrounded in a posh, luxurious kitchen in the middle of South Suburban Chicago. Mm-hmm. In the exchange of questioning and small threats, Mason, in his impassioned response, revealed considerably more information than had been expected. In the doing, what was intended to be a questioning, a subversion of a potential sleeper agent has become what amounts to a firing squad. George Jones, an officious member of federal government with several raises and promotions, rushes into the kitchen demanding them to lower their firearms because he, unlike the rest of them, is not privy to the information Mason shared. All right, put the guns down. We have not decided to end this potential asset.
I do have a great asset.
Jones, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. He knows what happened in Gary, and as far as we can test and tell, he wasn't there. Which means our intelligence is faulty. We know they talk. We know they exchange information. We know that they use different ciphers. Being aware of a situation is not the same as being responsible for it. Put your guns down. Kill order has not been given.
Yo, come on, you know us animals love to brag about our hunts. Hunters?
Jones steps back so that he's more directly in front of you. I need you. I need you so that I don't have to do 4 hours of paperwork. What is about to happen? You need to give me something, and you need to give me something now. Something usable, something provable.
Well, how about this? So, what creatures have you hunted so far?
Doesn't work that way. Again, I need you to give me something. Not question what I know, not try to use me as your asset. I am attempting to save your life. You need to give me something that's provable and actionable now.
Tell you the name, the prince that's in charge. Wait, no, he's not the prince. He's a baron, right? The guy who told me that he was going to kill everything that I love. Abdul.
Okay.
Why am I always in these situations where I have to give up and quit? What the fuck? Sorry. That was weird. Spotify. Abdul was, which I'm pretty sure he was the Baron of Dalton.
Okay, so you say
I wish I could actually talk like a toy. I said yes. One of the kindred leaders in charge of Dalton's name is. Wait, what his first name is?
okay, take a second. All the tools are still there. All of the...
Yeah, that's what I'm using. Disable boom. It's what you're saying, but you know.
And there's Disabal album. Where can we find him?
That I'm trying to figure out.
Okay. Would you be able to provide a business, an address?
Yeah. He had.
a moving company.
Okay. Do you know the name of the movie?
Mission Rolf. What the name is.
And you say that he's located in Dalton. He's operating in
Pretty
Dalton.
sure.
Okay. He's operating in
There's this
Dalton.
other vamp named Marion Davis. At least that's her name when I used to know her.
Marion Davis. And where is she located? Mr. McGinnis, I am trying to save your life. You've given me a name, an idea as to what industry they may be involved in, and it's going to require more than a few moments for us to prove this. And unfortunately, whether we prove it or not is not enough to significantly impact their trigger fingers. I need something we can move on now. I need something that we can check in less than 30 seconds.
Mason smirks. Less than 30 seconds? Okay. That place was just at with Tonette, with the monster.
Mm-hmm.
I give him that location. There's a creature there. Well, no, I say there's a vampire there. That can be potentially dangerous for us all.
Okay, so that's one location, two names, nothing that we could check immediately. Because you just directed us to a factory that is a 40-minute drive from here. I need 30 seconds. We can look this up on the internet. We can follow up on. And I'm glad that you're attempting to work with us, but to convince these men and women that you are not worth the... How much are those shows? Adams,
What?
how much are those shows? The rounds in my gun would cost the U.S. taxpayer $225 a show. So Jones clears his head. Not the retail rate. How much do those shows cost? Oh, fuck. I can make these in the field for just under $75. $15, depending on where I am. Okay. And what would that shell do to flesh? Well, the cesium and the phosphorus would cause it to burn as if it is a white dwarf star for anywhere from 3 to
Kinky.
7 seconds. And what would that do to the air even in a blank body's lungs? Oh, well, it'd ignite the gases that are there in the lungs, which would feed the phosphorus, which would feed the cesium, and the moisture in the human body would act as fuel, causing it to burn and cauterize its way all the way through. Oh, and once the cesium reaches its highest temp, what happens? Oh, it causes the shell to fraction and break. And what does that mean for those of us who didn't go to, gun bunny school? Oh, it causes the shards to fire through the body in a secondary charge, an explosive miniature charge.
Yeah, I get it. Y'all are lethal.
Mr. McGinnis, I merely want you to understand that these men and women have decided that you are worth the $225 times 6 minimum to the U.S. taxpayer, dead, deceased. You need to at least match that value. And right now, there's nothing that you've given us that we can check in 30 seconds. There's nothing we can follow up on. I need to point them somewhere else so they don't point at you. And then we can have an honest conversation. Jones, you don't get it. He was there. He admitted to the explosion, and we didn't mention the explosion.
I did not know any explosion.
Jones literally face palms and takes the sunglasses back to you for a second as he
That it wasn't me.
Okay, we can save this. We can bring this back. And he slips the sunglasses on and he turns it back to you. Okay, Mr. McGinnis. I understand you are aware as to what's happening across the border in Indiana. This is something that we can check. Give us a phone number of someone, anyone who has shared this information with you. Someone we can call. Think of it as who wants to be a continued existing being. Instead of who wants to be a millionaire, this is your lifeline. Who's your lifeline? Give us a name and a number. And with that, he actually pulls out his phone.
Whose number? Wait, besides like my actual allies, whose number do I have?
Well, that is entirely up to you. What are you going to do?
Hey, put in Marion's last known phone number.
He starts. He looks at you as he enters in the number and starts dialing. Who should I ask for?
Marion.
The phone rings twice. And the line connects. And he snaps his fingers at one of the security team over your shoulder. And they begin doing something. You can hear keys clacking on a small keyboard. He nods and they nod. And other end of the phone, there's a honeyed light. And Mason has prepared himself. He's stilled himself to hear the sound of Marion coming through, her lightly southern red-headed voice coasting through the receiver. Instead, the speaker sounds similarly southern but lightly smooth. This is Segundus. Go ahead. Jones looks at you, then looks at the phone. This is Segundus. We were told we'd be able to reach Marion. Pause. You know Marion? Yeah. We're here with Mason. He said this is a desperate matter. Oh. Well, I'm not far from his house now. You want me to swing by his house? No, we're not at his house. We're actually in the middle of something elsewhere. But could we meet you to connect with Marion? Of course. If anything from Mason, she told me to keep an eye on him, make sure that he was okay. She did. Excellent. That's good to know. Well, we are with Mason right now. We're going to set up a meeting with him. As soon as we have the opportunity, we will meet you. Segundus? Yeah. Okay. And let's say Mason's house in 2 hours. We should be able to make it there and hopefully not be followed there. Oh, yeah, that's not a problem. I'll be at Silks. I'll see you guys in 2 hours. Silks? You want us to meet you there? No. Mason's house is fine. I'll meet you at Mason's house. All right. See you there. Click. He ends the call and looks at. He ends the call and looks at the agent over your shoulder. She moves forward and hands him a tablet. He takes a second and looks at the tablet. What do you know? That person is actually about 10 minutes from your residence.
Mason
Alright.
tries to like keep his composure, not because when he heard Silk's name, like fuck.
All right, McGinnis. And he looks at the others, and you can hear the metallic slide over leather as guns and firearms are put away. You bought yourself at least 2 hours. You're gonna need more than this from you. Who is this Segundus? Who is Silk? What is your ties to Marion? And with that, he pulls up a seat and sits directly in front of you.
My ties to Marion is the one. She's the one who, made me this monster.
How did that happen? We have a lot of details. We don't have anything factual we can follow up on. How did you?
You said, "Who are these people?" Not how us people get yours.
You said turn. That means that you weren't always as you are. How did that happen?
Okay. How about this? I tell you how I became me, or I tell you about Silk and Secundus.
So you want to barter?
Well, if bartering's in my nature.
Okay, I completely understand. Of course, your continued assistance is of no matter. Your continued assistance has no real value because it's not something that you bartered for. It's not a game that you've played. You like risk. You like excitement. We can provide that for you. Give me a second. And he stands up. I will be back if you... And he leaves the kitchen, leaving you alone with the security team. And as all sorts of thoughts run through Mason's head, we turn our gaze back to Ben and Joshua. The Sabbat, the Dustborn, perhaps not being as monolithically aligned as you believed. The fact that Ben has, by this point, checked her messages from Marcus. The very real fact that you allowed Mason and Leonti disappear into the night to their own devices. And then Twinette, having administered the last bit of blood bags to those gathered, makes her way towards you. Faustin is nursing a bag and rebuilding herself right before your eyes, long before Faustin is her crash directed over the top self. But in that time, Twinette covers the distance between where she was to where you all are. And I can't tell you how much this means to me that you all stuck around and helped. I thought Marcus would be here as well, but for the help that he gave, I cannot ever thank him enough. And I know I shouldn't have, but I've been calling Eric and Yaroslav this entire time, and neither of them have answered. I don't know what's going on in Chicago, but this is not good. This is not good for any of us.
After checking my messages, is very much trying not to curse a blue streak. and it's very present on their jaw that they're holding on to the slight bit of rage very tightly, looking at Joshua. I'll come back to that in a minute. And then looking back at Tanette, did you know what the rest were up to? Were you part of the blood trade?
The blood trade? No, they sell a little weed. There's a couple of them who have actually, unfortunately, they connected with some crew out of Chicago who have been selling themselves, unfortunately.
Did me.
Yeah.
I'm being very serious with you right now. Where do you think the blood that we helped wake everybody with came from?
I thought that was Dr. Bishop's. You mean that it wasn't?
No.
Oh, shit.
Yes. And the reason you were all targeted is for that blood, because the other players in the blood game do not play nice. They don't like interlopers, and I have a strange feeling. I don't know why the Sabbat would be part of the blood trade, but apparently that's what's going on now, and they have decided to step in and throw their hat in the ring, which means they are taking out the little guys. And you were fresh fish on that little guy list.
No.
This was a message from the boogeyman of Kindred, the Sabbat.
Killing everyone, no matter how temporary, is a message? That's not a message. That's just...
With the Sabbat, yeah, that's a message. Because if they were serious, it would have been permanent.
Oh,
The
God.
Sabbat were known
Slap me
to,
on the wrist.
back at their height, they were known to not just attack the city, but to completely destroy it, break the masquerade over his knee, causing like lasting effects for every vampire who lived there, but they didn't really care. That half of them are nomadic anyways. They mass embrace vampires, let them loose. Grievously show vampire resilience and powers to mortals. Yeah. Pretty awful, like Ben said.
That, oh God. Faustin. You don't have to fucking yell, bitch. Like, really, I'm right here. I've got sharper hearing than you do. And sorry, guys, yes, I know I shouldn't have been ear hustling, but that's just fucked. You're pretty much saying that it's from the frying pan right into the eye of the fire. That is absolutely horrible. We need to go. Would you all be able to help us pack what we have? We can call Eric and Yaroslav. I don't know why those two disappeared off to Chicago tonight. Who was here when Eric left? Fuck you, Faustin. You were here too. Yeah, but I was busy trying to get someone to get with Doc here to help him out. Look, it's not my fault. You were trying to get him to drink somebody so you could watch vicariously and get your voyeuristic thrills off. And it's not my fault. And then the guy points at Toinette. You were running around with fucking Mason again instead of tending to your responsibilities as one of the leaders. Eric chose you all and Yaroslav for a reason. And you guys aren't living up to his standard. And you want to ask me who was here when Eric left. You were here. All right, look, stop.
That whistle through the fingers thing to get everybody to shut up.
How?
We don't have time for who dropped the soap. We have to figure out how best to keep you all safe from now. But basically, like I said, since this was a message, I'm betting if you stop doing what the fuck it is they slapped your wrist for, they won't do it again.
Faust and Antoinette look at each other when you say that, as if, yeah, if only you knew. They don't say it out loud, but there is no way to not read that moment.
I look at the look and I'm like, oh, please tell me that you have no intention of continuing the bullshit.
No, it's not that. And Faust said, look, Toinette's too nice and she's all flowery speech and a little quick whips like we're on whatever. But we kinda almost know is Sabat in Dalton. Like I said, like they said, like we know, most times you guys don't pay us any attention. And there's a crazy white-haired witch. Whoa. When she... Look. I wasn't the one who saw it, so I can't say for sure, but Twinette's like, look, hey, Ben, we believe that there's a... And we know that in the Sabbat there were like the shadow vampires who could turn into like winged bats. So we know that those were like Sabbat people. And when we were scouting Dalton for this place a few years ago, there was a crazy white-haired kid who was running around draining people. She was paying. Just playing real well, but depending on what you said and how you responded, you may not leave your limb. And for a while, she was supporting us without meaning to. She was like paying us, so we'd give a little blood here and there. And there was a huge amount of us that gave blood because, well, if you could make, $1,000 a night, wouldn't you?
I think you're forgetting I have business. I don't need... never mind, I'm not getting into that right now. But, yeah, okay, crazy white-haired, draining people, vampire sounds a lot like probably who did this.
That sounds like someone who's trying a lot of trouble for everyone around here.
Well, thing is, and the reason why things stopped, the Voivod kind of caught wind, and losing a limb is nothing compared to someone who's going to hunt you down for sport. And several of us disappeared because he would use them as foxes. He would wait for people to leave. What was her name? Anita Blake, Donald Blake, London Blake, and it's Blake something. And she's out in like the southeastern portion of town, just off of the 94, right over there, like 154th. And you know how close that is to the Vod's territory. Like super, super close.
Yeah, so basically you guys have essentially just taken a massive shit where you eat it.
We didn't. Yeah, but we allowed it because you and Eric is also pent up about Chicago and getting in Mason's pants. Look, it's not really his pants. Look, we need to stop. I don't need to stop anything. Eric's gone. Yaroslav's gone. That makes you and me the fucking leader. And you need to fucking listen to me because Eric's not here to protect you anymore. You need to stop giving up the booty to Mason and focus on taking care of us.
My God. So hold on. Let's open into.
Ben choking on so much right now.
it takes her a second, and it's clear that Toinette is adding things together and trying to decide on how viciously to cut someone. And it's that look that you've all seen in Kindred right before they frenzy.
I step between them. Because I know I can take it if something happens, but I step between them.
Faustin, you 2-bit fucking whore. Not all of us.
I grab her lips. Don't make me put you in timeout.
And Faustin looks at Joshua. Can you believe that she thought that 2-bit is an insult? Do you know people would kill to have 50 Cent these days?
Faustin! You're not helping.
So, when 2 days needed to happen, house needs to be clean here. Like, you can't have Dustborn bringing all sorts of hell upon themselves. Like, they might not be doing it on purpose, but they're traitors nonetheless, exposing the whole thing. And we probably need to figure out who this white-haired Kindred is, probably hunt them down. Can't have someone like that with witch hunters in the area.
Wait, so you think we should go after her?
No, we should not, because I'm pretty sure the person I'm thinking of, the person that you're mentioning, and the person that did this, like I said, are all the same fucking person. And if that is correct, then that means we should not go fucking with them, because they were able to take you all out with a snap of their fingers and not touch you.
Yeah, but we didn't know they were coming.
You should fight.
But we didn't know they were coming, which means we could get the jump on them just like they did on us. Toinette is literally face palms and is rubbing her brows. She's not saying anything, but it's clear that she's thinking that Faustin is pissed off and beat and wants to help that happen further. So she's torn between offering horrible so Faustin runs off and actual news. Alright.
Speaking of which, while I'm thinking, Toinette, where were you and Mason coming from tonight? When we saw you?
Can we talk about that later? Oh, you want to keep secrets? Alright, dumbass. Look, we went to see Tonino. What? Yeah, we went to see Tonino. You are stupid. You take your current boo thing to see your former boo thing. How do you expect that to fucking end? It's not like that. You know he's putting together people. So we went to see Tonino so that he can bring his people to help us. It didn't work out. There was some monster that was there. We left before that monster lost it. Faustin just chuckles. Of course there's a monster there. We didn't know that there was a monster dealing with Tonino, and it's the one that we talked about. Oh, shit. I think it's time for us to just stop dragging our feet and get settled over there with Jessica. Even if it means living in a fucking trailer park, let's go. Can you guys help us pack some shit up? Faustin, we can't just, there was a plan. Yeah, fuck your plan. I want to continue living, and I can't be here. And unlike you, I don't have access to Daddy Vampire's money to keep supporting me. I bet Mason would lose his shit if he finds out that your maker is still... Shut the fuck up, Faustin. Just shut the fuck up.
Then like the brow raises, and she's looking at Toinette real hard.
I'm curious too. What about?
Look, you guys can't tell Mason. It would break his heart. It would step on his pride, it would make things so much worse than the reason. The woman that killed me, the woman that made me like I am, out of guilt, she helps pay for things. She has a trust fund set up. That's it. That's all.
Have a name?
She does, but I've already shared too much. I haven't even had a chance to sit down and talk to him. It hasn't really come up yet. We haven't really had to use much of them except for getting this and a few other places set up. So I want to be the one to break it to him. And then
It's not Marion, is it?
Who's that?
You know who Marion is. Marion's his maker.
He tries not to mention his maker by name. The few times we talked about it, he just said maker. His sire is, well, sometimes it's like sleeping in the bed with.
Marion.
Sometimes it's like sleeping in the bed with her because it's a touchy subject. Like normally we get a chance to talk about almost anything, but when it comes to how we got here and how we met, it's too close to. And I don't want to cause him any pain. You all ignore him and don't realize how brilliant he is, how passionate he is, how loyal he is. But I do, and I appreciate that. I appreciate that real, earnest, honest sharing.
Hold on. I'm gonna tell you something real quick. But you don't understand how loyal he is, how passionate he is. You know how many times that he's been shot at recently that I have stepped in and put my own body in the way of? I went into a river wrapped around him full of fucking holes with some kind of weird armament burning holes in me to save his fucking life. You gonna tell me I don't understand? Yeah, I think you need to stop talking. And she then turns around on her heel and walks the fuck away.
Joshua puts his hand on his chin. Mason's definitely a hot-headed one, but I didn't realize the product of his blood made a little bit of him. But he's definitely a very loyal, passionate kindred. I personally think he does fight for us and inside of the whole.
Could you tell Ben I'm sorry? And when it hangs her head, takes a step away and starts talking to people, getting them to go to their room, to their areas, grab whatever they can, get to a car, go to the area that's being prepared for them in Gary tonight. They're not going to wait another night. And a few of them actually started listening, started following. Some actually can hear. Hey, what about Eric? Just do as asked. And Faustin actually chimes in. Yeah, fuck nut. Eric's not here. Yaroslav's not here. That makes us the fucking two of us. So do what the fuck we say. Or stay. Or it's up to you. You want to die again? Die again. I don't care. I don't fucking care. I'm going to get my backpack. Hey, I'm riding with you, bitch. And as Twinette moves through the crowd, heading toward space, she's chasing. And as Faustin heads towards her space, begin gathering her thing. A few of the dustborn about you begin moving actually to gather their things and prepare to disembark from this sanctuary, from this safety last holdout, their last castle, which has been refortified and strengthened, secured by not only their previous preparation, but also by Ben and Marcus and Joshua lending a hand to refortify the position, to redouble their security so that they were in fact safe. Being hunted is one thing, but the bad guys should never enter into your home. And this has happened for them clearly the final time. It's that straw that breaks the camel's back. And their guiding light, their Father Superior, their spiritual guide through these moments, their grief counselor, their psychiatrist, their bartender and best friend, Eric, is nowhere around. The longest lived Dustborn that they know, who has managed to suffer the arrows of kindred society for far longer than any other Dustborn around. So losing them and not having a shoulder to cry on is a blow most severe to their spirits and their morale. And mean well though they might, Nat and Faustin have not quite grown into that. So as Ben makes her way to where?
She just picked a random direction and was kind of walking off towards it. Probably close to where they had parked Faustus's car, because they're probably going to need to give it back, even though Marcus has the freaking van. Yeah, it's just kind of like a walk away and catch your breath. No anywhere particular. Probably after 10 or 15 feet, just gonna stop and attempt to calm down.
Doc Bishop is not a very emotional man. He's not very outwardly expressive as to what he's feeling. However, in the exchange of whatever that was, whatever grudges that Faustin and that had with one another, and they're separating and moving away from each other to gather their thing, you find yourself alone with Dr. Bishop once more.
Looking at So that's wonderful, all that just went on and all that information, but the icing on the cake is Marcus. Something recently happened. I told you what we had to do a favor this evening, and I think somehow that favor somebody found out about, and they're threatening Cone if he doesn't show up in Gary tonight. And he told me that he thought I would lock him in the trunk so that he wouldn't go. But he couldn't risk losing the last power piece that might be on our side. So he's promising me he'll be careful, and that he asks that I not punch him when he gets back. I am not making any such promises, and I haven't punched him up till now, but I think I might just this time.
So wait, he's chilling right now? What are you trying to say?
She shows him the text message from Marcus about someone having pegged recent events and threatening Cohen, if they didn't come running, and that he couldn't tell me because they would have locked him in the trunk, etc., etc.
I mean,
I have a strange feeling something's trying to get us back to Gary this evening,
I walked into it.
whether it's safe or not.
the walls just seem to be closing in here. And I feel my Haven calling me. I wish I had returned.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have to go back home and face whatever we have to there. Hopefully it's calmed down some, but before we leave, I wanna at least see if the chance we took tonight bared fruit, and I can talk to Decibel, because we still might need his help.
Yeah, the Vode, I'm sure, has many tricks up his sleeve that could help against the witch huntings. I mean, he lived this long. He lived in a giant haven, right? Oh, I've seen it quite yet. But to be so audacious and out there in these modern times, you have to be very tenacious. Or at least very stupid.
He doesn't seem stupid to me at all. Just very cautious, but at the same time very smart and very dangerous. So there's that. Yeah. And Vin is going to reach out to Geneva and coded, mind you, and ask, okay, our side completed. When can I speak to Decibel?
The reply comes almost instantaneous. There's an address that's south of where you guys are right now. It's clear across the village, but it is definitely, without reading between lines and what it is, you asked to meet Decibel, and then there was an address directly given. That's it. That's all. No other word. Nothing else. Just an address.
That's not fucking creepy or a bad omen or anything, but it is what it is. Before we try to make it back to Gary, you wanna come with me on this? We can take Faustus's car for the moment and try to seeing as how dragon to dragon.
I'm more like a long descended bird compared to him. His presence honestly terrifies me. A little bit I've seen of him. But yeah, ultimately.
Before they leave, she goes to Faustus and then Twinette. We have one more thing to accomplish this evening, and then we will try our best to escort or meet you and Gary, because we'll be thrown back there.
Not everybody wants to go, so we're gonna have to go to our secondary position, Gary, so that not everybody will be there. Our secondary position, and you actually are aware of, nobody else is. It's the trailer park where you met Jessica. If you need us, that's where we'll be. The others will. There's a church on the east side of Gary that we've managed to kind of sort of buy. And so it hasn't been properly retrofitted. It is not secure. But those who aren't going with us, who aren't leaving with us, will be there. It's not far from Salacious. You know that space, right?
Well aware of that space, yes.
Thank you for your help. If Mason is angry with me because he hasn't responded yet, and I've sent 3 texts so far, I just tell him where we are. Okay?
Will do, but whatever him and Leonti went into tonight, I have a feeling they're probably needing to be stealthy. So maybe that's why he hasn't answered, but I will, pass that message along if I see him before you do.
Thank you. And I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. I'm sorry. I'm not going to even bother to explain more than that. I'm sorry. I did.
It's been a lot tonight, and I'm going to leave it at that. So, while we're forgiven, whatever, it's been a lot tonight. You've been through a lot, and so has everybody else. So, yeah. I'm going to leave it at that. Be safe, please. Keep an eye out.
Oh, we definitely will. We definitely will. It's been a lot. You are definitely right about that.
And then heads pausing.
And as you all separate, we turn our gaze back to Mason, who is waiting, not quite on pins and needles, but that's mentally what he's expecting. He's expecting Jones to walk back in with this elaborately garish torture kit, maybe some blow torches, some pliers, pull out his fingernails, maybe a couple of bone saws, something that's going to, just by the look of it, speak to the amount of pain that he's hoping to elicit. And he's let down. He's disappointed. Jones walks back in with a rolling cart, an actual rolling cart from a library.
Mason tilts his head, like, curiously.
It is filled with books. The spines aren't facing out, which in and of itself is weird, but... So, Mr. McGinnis, I'm not sure if you are aware, but this place where you are right now is a club of sorts. It goes back 5 decades. It was one of the first of its kind in the area, and it was an elite place. What I mean by an elite place, you know those places where the rich and powerful locally, regionally, or nationally choose to be amongst their own kind. Those elite sort of places where they do the things that the rich and powerful do, which I'm sure you've had the opportunity to witness a portion of that, right? Okay. So you know that part and parcel of what the rich and elite used to do, like people like me, we join bowling, we join pool leagues, we have weekend outings and barbecues and that sort of. But the rich and powerful, they find that both they have different hobbies. And the number one hobby amongst the rich and powerful are secret societies. And they tend towards, doing things that they shouldn't do naked with people who are doing they shouldn't do. It usually always pertains to sex or circles around sex because, well, there's nothing more proof positive as to one's power than being able to exert it for someone else who has been stripped bare, either physically, emotionally, or mentally. I don't know why that is, but the two go hand in hand and have always done. It's one of the key components of building a psychological profile of someone, their kinks. It's one of the reasons why we in the government and those who have worked for it never kink shame, because those are very valuable tools. Those are things that matter. Those are things that people try to keep secret, and with a little leverage, one secret leads to the next. Now, I did not wish to apply any leverage to you. I wanted you to be as willingly part of the good guys as as one of the good guys. Your reticence and the fact that the security team here believes that you were involved with the many lost lives in your home city.
My home city of what?
Come now, we don't have time. We really, really don't. Even as we speak, there is a team being launched to surround and, lay an ambush at your home for this to go. So we really don't have time. We want to, have as much from you as possible and prove to them that you're valuable enough to keep around. You matter enough to keep existing as you do. So, Mr. McGinnis, your home address, just so that you know where it is and that we are being legitimate, we are being honest with you, is 518 North Miami Place, Gary, Indiana, 46403. It's a very nice, especially for the area, considering that it is a very nice.
Wait, what day
other
is it?
homes.
How many days has it been?
That's what
Since
you're
I
wondering.
sent Clara on the. No, sorry, this is out of character.
I know. That's what Mason is contemplating.
Yeah, because
Yes.
contemplating.
Yes, he's
how
trying to
many
put
days-
things together. Yes. And while
Yeah,
he's
so-
doing that, Jones is slowly turning around each book. Now we have your address. This book was from 2010. Hand it to you. This book was from 2008, 2006, 2000. And then he reaches to the other end of the cart and turns around the book. This book is from 1946. And he sits it on top. And this book, and turns it around and he sits at the top, was from 1940. We have your entire life here if we chose. We can easily make sure that these books and their author is smeared in the public eye. You will be the most infamous person to ever exist in Gary. And that's saying quite a lot. People think of Gary. Your book sales will disappear because you'll be, without beating a dead horse overly much, you'll be equal to J.F. Hoover. J. Edgar Hoover, when people found out what he really did behind closed doors. And while times have changed and people are more accepting of sexual perversion, not when it amounts to, pederasty. Because you're how old? And
No,
your book agents and your many dates and the many children comparatively that you associated with, while legal adults could not possibly match your age, correct?
I mean, I guess.
And just the very idea of trying to assassinate you by exposing your age and the age of your conquest, it feels dirty to me. However, what would the public think of an 80-year-old man sleeping a freshly turned 18-year-old, 20-year-old? Hey. And I admit you look good for your age, but you don't look good enough that I would allow my nieces to be anywhere near you, knowing that you'd prey on them, their innocence. That you'd drain them dry. You can say that, but you know what they say. The more you deny it, the more it's true. And then, once you fall from grace, once your name is dragged through the mud sufficient, these ladies and gentlemen find you. And it'll be another story that you've all used. A heart attack, a cosmetic surgery accident from great fall for the shame of it all. And to make things a little spicy, to do things a little differently, we have other people in your society we are working on, that we are co-opting. We will share your name with that you are already working with us. So no, you won't die right away. You will live this night down and many more afterwards. But, oh shit. And he reaches inside his coat pocket, pulls out his sunglasses, put them. But as you know, we are aware of a portion of your abilities and what you can do to the average person. And we take steps to ensure that we complete our mission. You really only have one play here. How honest you are determines how much longer you can continue existing. You can continue with your life pretty much as you've done, and we are able to rout out all of those monstrous members of your society. We are able to take out all those people, all monsters. So what do you say, Mr. McGinnis?
You're not threatening me with all these guards. No. You're not. You don't bring in a card full of magnificent tools to break every bone in my body. No. You choose to bring out my books. But, you see, I don't really care about my reputation. That's not me. I might be, part of the stereotypical vampire type that loves that kind of thing. But, I don't give a crap. But, well, I'll tell you what you want to know for now.
Excellent. So what can we expect with the Secundus?
Secundus. Alrighty. Sorry.
Don't be sorry, Mr. McGinnis. You're choosing correctly. You are siding with the right team. You're siding with the good guys. We are here to help and save humanity. You're doing the right thing. Because just as Marion has been clearly keeping tabs on you and clearly keeping watch over you, Mason is taking steps to be as far out of sight and as far away from her as possible. That has in fact entailed keeping track of where she is as best as he can. The fact that another person has her most recent number speaks volume itself. How close to Marion they must be. And the fact that they honestly, seemingly cared and are rushing to his home to offer assistance says another matter. Well, in the end, but being completely honest with himself, Mason all fuck the fuck whoever else, considering they are in fact connected. Marion, there is still the real soreness, the real pain, the real post-trauma that he experiences just saying her name.
So, I don't really know the Segunda children. Not actually. I've only heard them by name. And, they're probably the same type of whatever you call us. And seeing as she has my old sire's phone number, she's probably close.
That's good to know. So here's what we'll do. We have experimented with a few different things, and it's clear that you need enough time to really weigh your standing in this. Weigh which side of history you want to come down on. To further hide our hand just yet.
Well, wait a second there. Which side of history? The side of history isn't good or bad. The side of history is whoever is the victor. The victor decides who's the good guy and who's the bad guy.
That's an interesting point, says the man who's under.
Well, who knows? Maybe if I say nothing and I die here, I would be helping my brethren and sisterhood more, and I would go down as a savior, a sacrifice, a hero.
You don't get it, do you? You don't get it, do you? Either we will your reputation against you, or we'll make sure that you don't have one. There's no in between.
Yeah, but I won't be alive to see it, so why do I care?
That's a good point. So, for your place in this, will they tell the tale of McGinnis, the savior of mankind, or will no one ever know?
So I'm no longer a man?
Well, you said it yourself. You were turned. You were created. You won't tell us how, but we can find that out through an autopsy if we really need to.
No, you wouldn't be able to find it through an autopsy. I would probably turn to dust, seeing as how old you think I am. Anyways.
So dust. You won't turn to dust when you finally die. Interesting.
What? Haven't you seen any vampire media? Or maybe I sparkle in the sunlight.
Well, we can find that out for sure. And in is roll 2 huge work area lights. You've seen them. They're up on poles and cast a huge light. They're like floodlights, but they're portable. Except for these. These don't look like floodlights. These look like lanterns, like the old school, for you, recent street lamps and lanterns that they used to have to light, because while they were being pumped with gas, they still needed an actual ignition so that they would light up the path in front of them. And they'd be all over town, and it required a lot of work and a lot of manpower, but it was done, and the world was lit in this orange flickering glow. Except for these, there's an orb about the size of a football inside. There's a tremulation of fear, because that football, even without being plugged in, even with no power supplied to it, is going around in a circle, spinning on its axis. There's a small hum. The question is, for Mason, is he curious enough to dare to breach the other side? Is he curious enough to attempt to see what most can't, to sense the unseen?
I don't think I have sensed the unseen.
Oh, well now, that's a very good thing for him, at least for his sanity.
Oh shit, are these guys about to just fucking die?
And as the lanterns are set up, as you would expect when they're interrogating a prisoner.
Yeah, I don't have sense the unseen, I have heightened senses.
Jones takes a step back as the lanterns are set up. And the others in the room take another step back.
Oh, wait, what is happening?
And you hear the fingers vibrating over the triggers of their handguns, and they take up their stances. You can hear the boots settling into place, and people straining against themselves, isometrically getting ready. And they're already wearing sunglasses, but you can see a few of them raising their off hand, their non-dominant hand, towards their face. And Joan,
good are vampire abilities? If I just rip out my eyes, could I hit them back? No, I'm joking. That's way too brutal.
And Joan says, "As you wish, Mr. McGinnis." And they're plugged in. 2 seconds. Literally 2 seconds. Would you be so kind as to roll your resolve plus stamina?
Damn. Ooh, okay. Oh no. Any difficulty or just roll?
It's better if you not know the difficulty and just roll.
Which means I probably don't have. Yeah, I'm gonna keep it like that, because I have a feeling I won't be able to succeed either way.
Oh.
Oh,
Okay,
that's almost a bestial failure if I do fail, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh no.
Luckily for you, here's the reason why. Do harmoniously as possible. 2 seconds. Mason actually makes it 1.5 seconds actually before they're unplugged again. The scream that emits from his throat is enough to nearly shatter eardrums. And there has been one time where Mason has been as emotionally moved as he is. And there's been one time where he's been as nearly in as much pain. Those two moments are separate. However, for emotional resonance, first time he was able to watch at the cinema the rising of the sun. The sunset, put the camera up and watch the sun come up. And he watched it. He was able to see its light for the first time in years. He didn't realize how much vitamin D directly from the source could move him. And even though he didn't get the heat, the warmth, glow, watching it happen in color was the penultimate moment of his life at that point. Even with everything he was suffering with even everything he was suffering, dealing with the changing of the guard in terms of those who were in power and those who were losing power, even with the monsters that could make shadows come to life, not far off, this was the penultimate moment, not just surviving the horrors, but experiencing a gift of the joy. And the most pain that he has been in is very recent. There was an SUV that blew up not more than 20 feet from him that ripped through him with shrapnel that did not stop burning until Ben carried him into the river. And that's the pain he feels, combined into one brief split second. He's able to see the sun, and his skin responds exactly as you feared, exactly as that little voice in the back of his head keeps from happening. In the matter of 1.5 seconds, Mason has tanned so thoroughly that his skin is still smooth. His retinas are still scarred. And as he looks at his skin, as the scream that tore his concentration away from the moment ebbs into nothingness, he realized that the scream came from him. He realizes that the pain came from him. He also realizes Ben and Joshua arrive at Decibel's castle. There's no other way to describe it except for that. The address that they were given was directly to Decibel's castle. Do you know how, for lack of better terminology, how brass-plated one's balls must be as a kindred to live in a castle in the modern age? And the parking area is filled with various cars of different values in ascending order from ridiculous to abso-fucking-lutely ridiculous. The grounds are very near palatial, and the fact that the castle is a funeral home just adds to the consternation before Ben and Joshua. This is the place of a man or kindred gives no fucks, and if you fuck around, you won't have to worry about finding out.
That's that. Going to the castle. I don't know what else to do here. I mean, originally I had a plan, but then Blood said that they would be willing to be traded for use for as a favor, and then now they've been attacked, so they're all leaving, and I don't know whether my bargaining chip is still a bargaining chip. But it is what it is. We have to do this. I mean, hell, at this point, I'll put on a slave Leia costume and never mind. Don't ignore me. She parks and turns off the car, puts the keys in her pocket, switches back into the heels, out of the vans, because it's necessary. Fixes her lipstick. And,
Joshua, would you be so kind as to go ahead and do me a small favor? You need to resolve plus occult, or your composure plus persuasion. Josh? There we go. Just took a second to pop up over here on my screen. All right, so you are able to keep from immediately fangirling out, but you feel at the moment you cross the boundary line of the property. It is literally like walking into the emotional resonance of some other dragon's home. There is a peace that Joshua has not felt internally since he took sanctuary with the Dustborn Church. By not being surrounded by his things, there was a pensiveness and a worrying in his mind. He was literally feeling less and less himself. The moment you all cross the boundary of the property, you are welcomed into the bosom of home. And it is the most elating feeling he has experienced in the last several days, potentially weeks, even with his earth of his home. This is being welcomed to the family reunion and seeing cousins you play ding dong ditch with. This is playing flashlight tag at night. These are the memories that are foundational to Joshua being himself. And while he keeps from freaking out and fangirling with hands by the cheeks, it is what's going on inside his head. While he's biting his tongue and not expressing it, there's an elation that takes over.
So, do we just walk to the front door? Not exactly sure how you address someone as high as this.
Ben, you've never seen Joshua smile before. It's a little unnerving, but there plastered to his face is a smile despite his calm demeanor and tone.
They are mildly creeped out. They've seen a lot, and they've seen the doctor be full out leech creature, but this is freaking them out. So they're you've never done that before, but I've noticed. Are you gassy? Is there something going on with your mouth? It's weird.
What do you mean?
You're smiling. It's weird.
I'm not smiling. What do you mean?
You're smiling. It's weird. Touch your face.
Joshua touches his face and plays surprise. He's not keeping his usual calm, steely demeanor. He tries to. Yeah, I'm gonna lie. I'm gonna give it to you straight. I'm like 60% excited to meet someone of this fame and like 40% fear that I won't be with standards and I'll be some pile of flesh in the corner.
You all make your way towards the clear front door, and it's only as you get closer that you realize that the castle is only 2 stories. Yet it is roughly 5 times too wide. There's no reason for this building to be this big. From aerial mapping, you're sure that it wouldn't pop up on anybody's radar as anything out of the ordinary. Up close and personal, this is ridiculous. And the guard at the front door dressed in the brown livery just made things all the worse. You all are clearly late. If you all, and they point to their right, follow around the side of the building. There is an entrance for late arrivees. The gathering is already in process, and the ascension has already begun. Would you all need assistance elsewise? Perhaps a loved one is deceased, or an enemy? Are you here to attend a service? They have been postponed for this evening.
No services? Ascension? What?
I see. Understandable. Then we will have to detain you until the Lord of the Manor decides your fate.
No, we've met Decibel before. Can just talk business.
Business isn't to be allowed this evening. There's other pressing matters. Boavad Albul will see you at his pleasure later.
The Dom of Dalton gave us this address and said that we would be allowed to speak with him.
They look at each other, meeting each other eye, one nodding, the other nodding, the other. And they turn back to you and speak of the Dom instead of the Boavad as well. As such, if you would be so kind as to remain near your vehicle, you may be escorted off premises, or you may be allowed entrance. 1 second, please.
Okay.
Literally a few seconds later, the Dom is exiting the front door. A glass of unknown vintage is in their hands. It's only as they come close that you realize that they are in fact carrying a handcrafted cocktail made of human blood and something else, because there is a definitive aromatic to it, even from a distance of 15. Voice. These people are with me. If you say so, madam.
You didn't cook once.
And she all but growls at the madam retort, but she ignores it.
Not in Lynn.
Right this way, you two. Dr. Bishop, I must admit that your services came in valuably this evening. The Boavad was very impressed with your craftsmanship. Thank you so much for your efforts.
Ben is paying close attention to the conversation going on, because while Joshua kind of hinted at what they helped do, it's still like, hearing it from the person that gave them the task in the first place. But Ben is, for the most part, right now keeping quiet as to not call attention to themselves, I guess. Knowing what their particular task was.
Make it into the actual gathering space, unblushed and unliving, clearly so, than you have ever seen in one place at one time. While it is very difficult to discern a kindred from a human from a breathing kindred are, how they immediately peg you all out of the crowd as to exactly what you are. Your view on them shows how they see you well. Don't tempt the beast and rouse the vitae to move. You can pick each and every one out of the crowd as if they have a halo or spotlight on. Right this way. I unfortunately won't. I can't allow you to crash the party. This is a very important moment for several of our members. Right this way. She escorts you all to a side room just out of the main flow and ebb of things. In the doing, you all get the opportunity to see several kindred gathering around. There's a huge mountain of a man with red hair, with literally the dregs of biker society gathered around him as if he is a king. of the road. There's a man standing just off his right shoulder, dressed in nearly tactical SWAT gear, as if he's a bodyguard. He is clearly either well blushed or not a kindred, either one you're not sure of, but to be able to associate in such close proximity, and Ben recognizes that they are each and every one of them a member of her blood. She can smell the road on them. She knows that the bikes that she didn't see are clearly somewhere not far off. And most of those that she sees are members or pledges towards the wolf pack. They all sought positions as archons. And she tries not to be seen as she is in a frilly dress, as someone who would clearly be forced to ride bitch. Her biker cred is very important to her. Across the room, there are several regal-looking figures who have finery that describes description. And yeah, this is a party of parties. It's almost on the level of the parties you've heard of happening in Chicago. But all the same, you guys are escorted to a side room. And in that side room is both Decibel and Joshua knows Cyprian. Oh. The Dom instructed that I was to meet with persons. I did not believe it was you. All. Come. Enjoy my hospitality. And while your friend and I have our differences, that doesn't have to include you. I understand that a person such as this could not be more selfish.
After, of course, taking all that other stuff in and kind of ducking behind Josh a little bit to hide the pretty in case, or they straighten back up and it's all business when they see the person they came to speak to. Looking at him, they give a very slight curtsy. Yes, they know how to do that. That is why I was hoping to speak with you this evening. I wanted the bitterness that transpired between you and the other person to not extend to the rest of us. He is impetuous and probably needs to be taken down a peg, but that's neither here nor there. We still need help. I am offering myself. I am here in whatever capacity that may be to hopefully smooth things over.
You would do this for him, enter into my care, protect, friend, associate. You would barter whatever it is that I demand of you. Protect him.
For the final death.
I see. You have a deal. I will no longer, after the actions already in motion reach their fruition, seek vengeance against him.
Thank you.
Dr. Bishop, your skill is impeccable. Your choice in associates, based on this one, very high. Based on your other associates, perhaps not so much. Thank you for your efforts, Miss Dr. Bishop. Perhaps you would like an aperitif. And Cyprian steps forward. Right this way. I'll show you to the aperitif. Cyprian and Bishop leaving Albu with Ben. You know, your people and mine have had a very long relationship. So linked and intrinsic are they in my homeland that you cannot mention one without the other. For every voivod, there's a Lord Marshal blood. And because I know what it is that I am taking from making this, I will cease action because of your much gift of you. And after all, it is only a home he can rebuild another time. And we draw to a close with Ben having offered themselves to Decibel. And Cyprian and Bishop mingling amongst the party. And the Guinness coming to grips with the many fantastical, potentially awfully deadly tools at the disposal of federal agents have him in their employ. And as the camera of our eye was further back, enlarging, looking at the map, we close in on McGinnis's home. Claire stepping from the shower.
No, you.
A gloved hand over her mouth. And we pull back as the hand closes on her mouth. Her skin wet. Her hair clinging to her back. And seconds later, take in the outside of the structure, with Secundus easing down the street towards it, with several highly trained, dark SWAT-attired individuals bearing the sash badge on their shoulder. The house goes up. Secundus slams on the brake. The sash agents near at hand become immersed in flame. The hole and crater left where McGinnis's home down in infamy for how much damage a simple gas leak can provide. And as the sky is lit up as if for a brief second the sun appeared at night, we close. I want to thank you all for a lovely episode, and I look forward to seeing you on our next visit with our coterie of Gary. Good night, everybody.
Oh no. Oh no. That's scary. So wait, when a touchstone is lost, what happens?